Good evening, everyone. Apologies for my unintentional hiatus last week. I was in the grips of a panic and I couldn't bring myself to put together the stuff to record an episode, so I'm doing it this week. Um, Hi. I've got a cat. Hello, kitten. So, what has been my life for the past 2 weeks? Panic, panic, panic at the anxiety. Um, I think I've mentioned before, things are a little unstable at my job right now, and it's been driving me six shades of mad. So I just got out of therapy about 10 minutes ago, and that's what we were focusing on. So I guess that's what I'm talking about this week. Um, at the end of last week's session, after I was done complaining about everything that's going on at work, um, my therapist told me, okay, I'm giving you homework this week. I want you to sit down and I want you to write out a list of your job skills and your abilities and your knowledge and just put all of that in a list. The goal of this, in case you couldn't tell, was putting together a resume and starting to casually job hunt because this is where I am in my life. To be fair, she and I have been talking about me getting a new job on and off for the past 2 years, primarily because I'm no longer challenged at my job. I'm not motivated isn't the right word, because I can motivate myself through almost anything. But I've gotten to the point where I'm as high as I can go with my current position. I can't expand sideways into other responsibilities. There's no way to move up. I'm just kind of stuck where I am. And I'm no longer challenged by what I'm doing. So it's time. It's time. And the recent instability at work, most of which I can't talk about because it's confidential. Um, it's really amping up my anxiety about what is work going to look like coming forward. And um, there's a little bit of, am I still going to have a job when these changes get implemented? And I don't have the answer to any of that. So as a method of exerting some control, my therapist told me there's nothing wrong with looking at other available positions. There's nothing wrong with seeing what else is out there. And just because you are casually job hunting doesn't mean you have to go on an interview, doesn't mean you have to jump on the first thing you see. You have the luxury of choice. But since you are so anxious, go ahead, update your resume, start putting together stuff and things, start thinking about what you might like that next job to be. So as part of that, my homework last week was to put together a list of my job skills. Pause so I can take a sip of jasmine tea from this irresponsibly sized mug. So here is the saga of how that went. I spent most of the week procrastinating. Like, I told myself, I'm going to let this percolate. I'm going to let things like stew and marinate and come together so that when I finally sit down to write out this list, it'll all be in my head and I can just get it all out at once. So in reality, I was procrastinating. And then I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, I finally said, okay, that's it. I need to sit down and get this homework done. So I grabbed a legal pad and a pen and I sat down to write this list. And then I panicked again and said, no, wait, I can't do this until I've cleaned up my workspace, which was in part true. Over the course of a week, my dining room table / office space does tend to get cluttered with just detritus, papers, notes, personal beauty products, stuff and things. So I did need to clear some space so I could write. So I went ahead and did that, denying the fact that it was also procrastination. But I got my space clean and I finally sat down to write out this list. And I looked at the blank page and I panicked again, thinking, oh my God, what skills do I have? I've just been like making it up and kind of acting my way through adulting. Like I've been fooling everybody. I don't actually have any marketable skills. What the hell? And even if I do write down the 2 or 3 things that come to mind first, what if I can't come up with a list long enough to make this look like I did homework? Oh my God. So I had to have a panic about that. Finally talked myself out of that with just write down the first things that come to mind. You've been doing personal and professional development stuff all throughout lockdown. Just start writing those things down. So I did. And as I started doing that, as I started looking through the past year of notes, I did start finding, okay, these are the skills that I have. These are the skills that I've been developing. Here are the software programs I know how to do. Here is like the administrative stuff I know how to do. Here are my soft skills. And I did manage to fill out a page, which felt like a huge accomplishment. And rustle of papers as I grabbed the thing. One of the interesting points that I've seen regarding resumes and how the format of resumes is changing is that job recruiters and HR people and folks who are looking to hire, they want you to highlight your top soft skills because, you know, the mechanics of jobs, you know, there's some like software skills that you have to learn with the new programs at the job, but you know, anybody can maneuver a computer. Anybody can do that sort of basic admin stuff at a job. And what employers are really looking for is they're looking for soft skills. So after having wrote out this list, I'm going to read you the top soft skills that I discovered, because some of the stuff that I wrote down, it was rewording other things. So I realized, oh, okay, no, that's a soft skill theme that I can highlight. So here are the soft skill themes that I am highlighting. 1, I am a quick learner. 2, I am a team player. I am driven and motivated. I am detail oriented. I have excellent communication skills thanks to a lifetime in theater and coming from a family of communication folk. Thanks for that, fam. I'm good at building relationships, professional relationships. My personal friendships, that's a whole different thing, but I'm good at building professional relationships. I'm really good at, as the patron saint of storefront theater, Tim Gunn says, make it work. I am really good in a crisis at coming up with solutions to get us through. And then I'm really good at debriefing afterwards and coming up with, these are the things that we need to work on to make the next event better. So I make it work. I'm very adaptable and I have good critical thinking skills. So like those are the top soft skills that I think I want to highlight on a resume. So I read this to my therapist. She was very proud of me, and I was very proud of myself for having come up with all of this. And then we started talking through, okay, so why did every single step of this give you so much panic and anxiety? And God, one of the things so back up a bit, as part of building this list of job skills, another thing that I did, I found, or kind of Frankensteined this template of, okay, list out your big goals for the next 5 years. What's your 5-year plan? And then after you've listed those goals, take a second and scrutinize yourself and ask, why do you not currently have those goals? And I came up with some answers for that too. Let me dig that paper out. Here we go. Okay. So, scrutiny number 1, I settle. And for me, the fear of the unknown is oftentimes stronger than my distaste for a known quantity. So I'll stick with a job until the bitter end, usually long past the point of reason, just because I'm a very loyal person. I am very much a team player. I am very much, I will stick with you till the bitter end, even to my own detriment. So there's that. Um, I have no idea where this came from, but I doubt my ability to rise to the challenge despite all evidence to the contrary. And I think that's a big thing for me, is that a lot of my anxiety and my fear is rooted in the misguided and irrational fear that I can't handle it. If you put that belief up against any point in my life, that's obviously a load of nonsense. I have risen to every challenge. Yeah, every challenge that I've come up against, and I've dealt with it just fine. So it's that fear of the unknown that's kind of keeping me paralyzed. And at this point, um, what with, years of therapy and years of getting healthier and years of being more self-aware, um, I am no longer willing to settle with where I am. Part of that, I think, is because I now have defined goals for my next 5 years. I want to buy a condo, or at least buy a better apartment. I want to live in a better part of town, in a, closer to my job, closer to theater, closer to stuff and things. So I want a new apartment. In order to get a new place, I need to be more financially stable than I am right now. In order to get more financially stable, I need a better salary than I'm going to get at this current job, which means, on top of all of the other reasons that I want a new job, I need to find a job that will pay me a better salary. So, in order to complete the other goals on that list, becoming financially stable, getting a condo, stuff like that, I have to start with getting a better job. So, take care of goal number one first, new job. My therapist, again, was very proud of me for being able to put together this concrete list of things that I want, and putting together kind of like a flow chart of, okay, I can't do this until I have this. And in order to get this, I have to do that. It's a very organized list. I like organized lists. It's like a big to-do list that I get to slowly check off. One of the things that also scares me about job hunting is that I've never really, a little bit when I joined my current position, but I've never really been in a position to do a job hunt where I had the luxury of choice. Most of the time, it's been, I am either getting physically sick at the thought of going into work, or that burger place that I worked in closed. So I've always been in this position of, I need to find a job as quickly as possible, and I don't have the luxury. Would you get out of the way of the camera, please? Thank you, Flash. I don't have the luxury of waiting around. I need to find a job, and I need to find one now. And I'm in a very different position right now. I don't necessarily have to be in a rush to find a perfect job. I do have the luxury of choice. And keeping that mindset and that reality in the front of my mind is going to be a challenge. Because the other thing that my therapist and I were talking about is that I'm very much the type of person that once I make the decision, okay, I'm going to start doing this, I'm going to do it. Like, I don't do very well with, oh, let me just casually see what's out there and I can stop if I want to. That's not my personality type. Once I commit to a thing, it's in my brain and I need to get it done, or I will drive myself insane with the knowledge that it's still in my head and I haven't completed the task and I haven't checked off the thing on the to-do list. So I'm not really a casual job hunter. I'm not really a casual anything. So with that knowledge, my therapist and I we were on the phone, so we weren't looking at each other in agreement, but we kind of sat there for a moment and we're like, Yeah, casual job hunt is really not who you are. You're going to start looking for a new job now. And my therapist had to remind me, this does not have to be a fast process. This is not a situation where you are desperately hunting for the first thing you can find. You're in an economy that is not particularly friendly to job hunting, particularly not in your areas. Theater's gonna be closed for God knows how long, and event planning is also kind of not the best market to be in right now. Um, so she was also talking about, okay, so what's another job that you can get on a temporary basis if you have to, just something to tide you over until the theaters open up again. So we started talking about, I'd be a damn good personal assistant or an executive assistant. Like, I'd be good at that because I'm detail oriented. I'm really good at creating processes. I'm really good at gathering a lot of information and putting it into a simple, readable format. I'd be good at being an executive assistant. Plus, I look damn good in a pencil skirt. That's not relevant, but it is a fact. I look really good in a pencil skirt. So, so getting ahead of myself there. But so now that I've put together this list of soft skills to highlight, and now that I have like a kind of, these are the things that I need to highlight on a resume, this week's homework is to put together a draft resume and send it to two of my aunts who, prior to their retirements, both worked in human resources, and get their feedback on, is this a good resume? Does this stick out? How does this look to you? So that's the next step. Somehow, I'm not sure why, but somehow the prospect of putting together a draft resume is less terrifying to me than putting together the list of job skills. Listing out my job skills kind of felt not like a lie, but almost like an exaggeration. Like, no, I don't actually have these skills. I've been acting my way through the adulting. But you listing out, these are the jobs that I have held and these are the responsibilities that I had at those jobs. That's not a lie. That's not an exaggeration. Those are things that I did. So yeah, the prospect of putting together a resume seems a lot easier. Oh God. And also terrifying. Like, I'm not shaking, but I am, the whole concept of starting to do my market research and, do I want to work with a recruiting company? Do I want, what sites should I be looking at? What data points do I need to know for, these are the things that I want in a new position. All of that is really, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of change on top of a lot of change that's happening outside of my control. One thing that my therapist told me, it made me laugh a little bit, was the good thing about this potential job hunt is that this is not a case of you having to react to a shitty situation, because you've had to do that a lot in your life. You've had to respond to some really shitty things that have happened to you. But this is a proactive step that you have control over. And I know you after all these years of therapy, and I know how you feel about things you can control. So in a way, doing this job hunt research and putting all these things together, it's a really good way to counteract the uncertainty that you're currently feeling at work. And you don't have to settle for the first thing you find or the fifth thing that you find. You can apply for a job and then decide not to interview, or you can interview and decide that the position is not right for you. She reinforced, you have the luxury of choice. You have the luxury to really take your time, to really find a position that excites you, that is going to challenge you, that you can start to learn new skills from. And no job has to be forever. So, the fact that you're this incredibly loyal is great, but you have the luxury to leave and to do something else, which was kind of the last point that we had in therapy. It was that I had this moment of aha, of I am an incredibly loyal person, but I am not very loyal to myself. And it's time to start being loyal to myself. My current job, I don't want to say that they're not loyal to me, but they've not been treating me particularly well. They haven't been treating anybody on staff particularly well. There's been a lot of stress for everybody and a lot of uncertainty for everybody, and there's been a lack of clear communication about everything. So work conditions right now are not the greatest, and I'm good at settling. I'm really good at sitting back and just taking all of that and giving my all in my job despite it. But that is not the most healthy thing for me. And like I said, I've learned just about everything that I can at this job. There's nowhere to grow. There's no new challenges. I'm bored. So yeah, it's time to leave. It's time to leave. And I've known this for a while, but I haven't done the job hunting, and I haven't felt the impetus to start the process. And now I do. The impetus is there. The desire is there. It's time. It's time. And I have to cling to the mantra of this does not have to be rushed. I can take my time with all of this. I can explore my options. I can do a lot of research, and I don't have to blindly panic and reach for the first thing I find. I should probably write that and stick it on my forehead to remind myself. And also because I do feel a little bit of the pressure of I can't do these other things that I want to do until I have a new and better job. So I feel a bit of pressure on that because, there are things that I want in the next 5 years, and time has not been real for the last year, but, I still kind of feel the pressure of time. So yeah, it's time. It's time. As terrifying as it is, and as uncertain as I feel, and as overwhelming as all of this is, that bell tone of clarity has kind of hit me and reverberated down to the marrow of my bones. I'm ready now. It's time. It's time to be loyal to me. I have no idea how to be loyal to me. Please send help. So yeah, that's therapy this week. I did not cry, which is rare from my therapy sessions. I'm leaving therapy feeling a little scared and a bit uncertain and a little, are we really doing this? But also kind of motivated of like, yeah, it's time to do this. It's time to do this. So we're going to do it. Before I go, quick anecdote and warning not to be like me. I was taking my trash out yesterday and walking, I guess, too quickly or not paying attention. I don't know what happened, but the lace of my right shoe got caught in a clip on my left shoe, and I fucking face planted. I managed to twist myself so I didn't land on my newly healed ankle. But that does mean I have abrasions on the outside of my right hand. I have this beautiful abrasion and bruise on my left knee. I gouged the fuck out of the heel of my left hand. I am in quite a bit of pain, So don't be like me, please. Make sure that your shoes don't try to murder each other, and I guess pay attention when you're walking. Maybe don't take your trash take your trash out. Take your trash out. But yeah, don't be clumsy like me. Cause ouch. I hurt. I hurt, and my mommy won't pick me up and hold me. That, by the way, is an inside joke. When I was 3, yeah, 3, I fell and I banged up my knee and my elbow, and this was when I still had a lisp. So I was like, "Mommy, mommy, carry me." My mother, who was filming me at the time, was just laughing hysterically and telling me, "You can walk. Go ahead and do it." But I was still like, "Mommy, you can do it. You can pick me up." And she wouldn't pick me up. Mean mommy. But yeah, so now every time I fall and hurt myself, I have to call my mother and be like, "Mommy, pick me up." One of these days, I will get her to pick me up and put me in her lap and comfort me. And no, I don't care about the fact that we live in 2 separate states. I'm going to find a way to make this woman comfort me when I get a boo-boo. Because I'm secretly still 3. So on that note, stay safe, everybody. Stay sane. Watch out for hazards to walking. And write out your goals and write out one small thing that you can do to move toward your goals. For me, that this week, that's putting together a draft resume. For you, maybe it's you sign up for a gym membership, or you, I don't know, make an appointment to get a better computer. I don't know. Whatever your goals are, find a thing to do that will further one of your goals this week.